Wow, guys, we got a lot of info today. Joe came out earlier talking about how the final shape is officially delayed till June 4th. Of course, we were kind of getting this news earlier last month, but it's now official. He also talked about some things we're going to see now until then with the PvE and PvP type content. The map pack, Guardian Games moving up in March. We're getting these Wish seasonal weekly progression quests in February once the narrative of Seasonal Wish concludes. We're getting this new huge update called Destiny 2 Into the Light. I am just very happy that the delay happened because now I can at least say that I think Bungie is going to put a lot of effort into this expansion. I understand after All of Life Follows kind of having, a little bit less hope for Bungie's Final Shape expansion because I really wanted it to be pushed back a bit more because I really want this expansion to really flourish and really be something as memorable as Forsaken and the Witch Queen. Now, guys, with Season of the Witch launching tomorrow, less than 24 hours, and we still don't have a trailer, let's generate some hype and let's talk about a recent leak that has come out yesterday. This leak is actually pretty interesting. The only thing I really saw that of course was false is the delay. Apparently he said the delay was going to be in September, but obviously we just got the news that it's going to be in June. Who knows if the delay is going to even be pushed back even further. But other than that, this is a really awesome leak that I think, and it's pretty cool to have it the day before the season because I think a lot of you guys are really eager to get into this new season and all that Season of the Witch stuff and get into Season of the Wish. To me, this season is going to be sort of a conclusion to the Forsaken expansion storyline as it's gone on forever, and this will finally get us ready for the new stuff. And obviously, if you guys don't know, we also are getting a dungeon on Friday, which is really cool. So please be sure to subscribe and like here on the channel to never miss out on any content. We are so close to 30K. I really love all the support if you guys could help us get us there. But other than that, let's get right into today's video. Now, we are going to talk about some things right now with Season of the Wish and then get into stuff with the amazing Final Shape expansion. So with Season of the Wish, we have some story stuff. So the Aramkara is the main plot point, obviously, like you guys know. There's going to be a new seasonal activity, 9 weapons to craft to compensate. 3 red borders are needed per pattern. Some weapons are powerful, talks about folding in some more older pinnacle perks. So we might see some pinnacle weapon perks that you probably saw back in Forsaken come into the fold with these weapons, which is really cool. We did talk about that they're sort of reskins of the Season of Defiance weapons, but they're really more powerful. This is also a huge plot point. We said in our earlier leak video that Mara will die. Apparently Mara won't die, and that she will be trapped by the Aramkar wish to break the Dreaming City curse. By wishing for the curse, it will break. What happens is an alternative Dreaming City is created. The new clean Dreaming City is created, but Mara is trapped in the old cursed Dreaming City. Future plot point left open where we find and rescue Mara from this pocket dimension. Maybe a multiverse-esque story arc incoming. This also could go into an episode down the line if they so choose to even further progress the Dreaming City storyline, but in a way, like I said earlier, this is sort of a conclusion with the Forsaken story as the 15 which has been teased for so long. There's going to be a new exotic mission, like we of course thought and speculated, which will give an exotic void bow, you guessed it, Scorn Crossbow. Now I don't know if that is to be true, but this looks really cool. The new dungeon is Scorn themed, set in a cursed Dreaming City, but not the Ascended Plane. Dungeon reward is a grenade launcher with solar and stasis modes. It's maybe similar to Conditional Finality from the Roots of Nightmares raid. Works like the Scorn flares, which launches AoE grenades. So this is really interesting here. This is all the stuff we really got for Season of which will be launching. And again, the dungeon, I think it's like Warlord something. It's going to be a very interesting dungeon, and it launches on Friday. So we'll find out if any of this is true. And remember, beware that could be stuff coming out in the next couple of days on this dungeon. Of course, there will be a new seal, a whole loophole, and this will be really cool to see if that is the case. Now let's get into the Final Shape stuff. Now apparently it said the delay is confirmed to be until September to concede with the D1 launch and return to September big launch patterns. This could be the case later on if they so choose to go back to their original play, but right now it is confirmed to be June 4th. So this thing right here that looks like unlikely to be happening. Of course, it does talk about the upper management direction, and the whole over-delivery meme is something they're actually aware of. So stuff like that I guess you guys would probably know. So The extra time for the delay is to refine what's already made and add new content. The episodes will be reworked. This is something we didn't talk about. And echoes will basically be integrated into the Final Shape base meaning now. Episode 2 will be the first episode released with the Final Shape being Revenant. So this sort of changes everything. Right now we know that June will be the launch date of the Final Shape. And if they integrate what is supposed to be the Vex Echoes episode all into this, again, we talked about how the episodes are going to maybe be more like a Shadowkeep size type deal, and add that, then the Revenant Scorn episode is going to be something we are going to start getting, and then the Heresy episode 3 months after that, and then we will be in a blank area because we don't know if Bungie will launch another episode. Again, we got to take this with a grain of salt, but if this is the case, then we're going to be seeing a lot of the Vex content all on day one, or at least in the first couple of days after the Final Shape concludes. So we're adding even more story, more narrative, more weapons, I would assume. All this stuff that we're going to get, we are going to get now at launch, which is really cool. It's going to be like squunched together now, which is something I find really interesting. The red subclass is not set in stone, but Bungie are prioritizing it, adding this to the game for the Final Shape launch. I understand we haven't made it, a huge verdict, and we haven't talked about it in a while because I don't want to bore you guys on the Strife red subclass. However, I am going to keep it at this. Because of the delay, it could likely happen a little bit more than it used to. With the delay, they could even mention it, and they could progress it throughout year 7. It's just a definite, we don't know the answer to this, we gotta wait till time plays out, but it has a slightly more chance now of happening. I think a lot of you guys could at least agree with that statement now with the delay. And there is basically no expectation or no thoughts on a 2025 expansion. It would have to be in this one. So they want to add new darkness supers to that expansion named Strife, so in Final Shape. Late design stage, red VFX, only way to describe it is a liquid gaseous blood to hold down territory and spread buffs and debuffs. They want to make this subclass to remember, as there won't be a new damage type for a long time at the bare minimum. So to think about it, if we don't get an expansion in 2025 or 2026, we are going to likely be with 3. This is going to be basically the last time they can actually do it. So that's why a lot of people have had the possibility that it has to happen in the Final Shape. So obviously you get that there. So more on there. Strife will be post-campaign, if it is added to the expansion. It'll be folded in from the Echoes along with Venus, and I want to reiterate, this is not D1 Venus, this is D2 Venus. Very likely to be a similar to D1, but it's not a Witch Queen Mars size. There will be a patrol zone with paracausality Vex and Lucent Hive. The Vex has a simulated darkness fallout as a result of the neutralization of the Witness. Wield a crusade form of Strife, Strand, and Stasis, becoming paracausal. However, their paracausality is not as potent as the Guardians. We take down a Vex Mine, which is the lieutenant of the paracausality Vex, to wrap up the story, initially leaving it open-ended so the plot thread can be revisited. I find this all believable, and if that is the case that they're going to add this, it could be sort of like a part 2 to the campaign. Now, the Subjugators for the Revenant episode will now eventually wield Strife. We know in the Final Shape they're going to be able to wield Strand and Stasis, so it's probably natural if the subclass is going to happen. Other enemies, probably likely the Subjugators, and then the enemies in the Final Shape will wield this new red power. Now, we said earlier that the campaign size for the expansion is likely going to see 8 missions, but apparently this one is saying 11 missions now. 1 to 8 missions are going to be the Witness Final Shape story, and 9 through 11, the 3 other missions will be the Echo story, folded into a post-game content, will be tweaked, and it will be something similar to that. I could see this happening, again, with now the delay confirmed. Anything is sort of possible in this regard, so keep it at that. Bungie wants to bring back the magic which players felt during Forsaken, acknowledge the fun that they had with the infinite reload, but do not want to bring back infinite reload ammo, looking at alternatives. So that sort of magic, Forsaken, Shadowkeep time that we've gotten, they sort of want to restore to that, because I feel like right now there has been some sort of, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know if you know how to describe it, but sort of like a blockade in some regard, in some activity, some things that we've had in the last couple of months and last seasons that now have been sort of just like, okay, same thing. The Mountaintop Recluse, the Oxygen, the Delirium will be returning with origin traits with Mimic to their OG Pinnacle traits. I loved OG Pinnacle weapons. This is an amazing thing. I don't know if this is true or not, but to look at all of these together, I could definitely see Bungie returning nostalgic weapons like this in the final shape. I think a lot of people could agree. Of course, we never said Galahorn was going to come back, and it came back. So anything, again, is possible. And with Pinnacle weapons, if they do return, that would be amazing. And again, they say here, like, Micro Missile and Massive Arms will be tuned down a little bit. Delirium will have a stronger version of existing Killing Tally. Like, I like those weapons. Of course, they're way too powerful, but they were really awesome in PvE content. Some other things, they talk about a Decade of Destiny pack will be a paid semi-expansion akin to the 30th anniversary, one new F2P matchmaking activity, potentially PoE, and they're looking to doing a full revamp and making PoE P2P, along with Wrath of the Machine released around this time. This pack will be releasing concurrently with the final shape, originally planned to have in February. This pack is in September for the 10th anniversary, along with Wrath of the Machine Unvaulted. Again, this is a while, like, this also says, like, Pocket Infinity, akin like Galahorn, but there will be more exotic weaponry, like a tweaked Zone of Supercell, Nemenistar, and tweaked Infective. Obviously, a lot of people are going to say all this is fake, and again, we don't really know what's going to happen after the final shape. I know Bungie has yet to say a huge statement or anything after the final shape in the Echoes episode or Revenant, whatever after it. So if they are going to do something in September, they likely could, because it would be the 10th pack. And with the 30th anniversary, with the great reception that got, this could definitely be possible. And again, Pocket Infinity, akin to Galahorn, could be possible. Another match-made activity, and releasing with all other weapons definitely could happen. Final Shape is a quote-unquote make or break for D2. Joe personally pushed for a delay, will put out a state of the game after the delay is announced, taking accountability for said delay. Now, this is something he did sort of do a state of the game, but he did it as a video earlier today. He's optimistic that Final Shape is a true return to form for the franchise and will raise community sentiment. Bungie employees push for a charity campaign for Palestine. I know we don't talk about some stuff that's going in the real world right now, but you can see here would include a shader, emote, and emblem, but they were talked down to the politics behind said campaign. Now, looking at that all together, there's a lot of things to talk about. We have said that the red subclass is again the make or break. The final shape being sort of something that they really want to make a huge return for players in the final shape, for Destiny as a whole, and I think that is the case for a lot of things. We know right now that with the delay, I think there's a lot more, high expectations for Bungie to pull this off, and I think with the time that they have now till June, I think they can pull it off. But again, we have to wait and see, and with all this stuff, I could definitely see now the Echoes episode being tweaked now into Destiny. They add a lot of stuff into the final shape, they tweak a lot of stuff, and then they just put all the content from Echoes right in the final shape, and boom, bada bing, you know what I mean? That's how you do it. And then obviously if the content is tweaked and all that, we will be in something good. Now, I want to point out one more thing before I let you go. In Joe Blackburn's video that he posted earlier today, he did state one of the things that I found really interesting, which was when he was talking about, final shape being the best and trying to, get a lot of, expectations that we have in reality to what it should be. He also talked about a quote-unquote locations, plural, and not location. And I know you guys do know, obviously, that the Pale Heart is the main destination in the final shape. And it would be really interesting if they do a Forsaken and add a whole other destination or something smaller to the expansion. And that's why there's been some things around that maybe Venus will be having a huge destination as well. Imagine the Pale Heart and Venus being in this expansion all together. That is a lot of content. But again, time will tell. We have to wait and see, and I hope to see this soon. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you guys are feeling, and aren't you excited for Season of the Wish? Let me know, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye, guys.